Hey y'all, this is Snell from the Wine Blog, and I'm going to be doing my 2-week update for both myself and the baby. So, the few days after we got back from the hospital were actually really good. She was eating on schedule because in the nursery they fed her every 3 hours, 3, 6, 9, 12, and then rinse and repeat. So, that was really good. My husband was not in school, so he was able to help during the nighttime, and then we switched off at 6 a.m. So he would feed her at 3 and then go to bed, and then I would wake up when she would wake up at 6, and it's still been like that. We're still on that schedule. My milk hadn't come in, so I was pumping and hand expressing what I could get out. And by day 5 or 6, my milk was coming in, but I was still getting engorged. And she was not latching on. I was trying to latch her at every feeding, and I still am, and she still hasn't latched on. The other day, she was at my breast, and all her mouth and all her cheek was all wet and dirty, and I was like, "Mama, you're not drinking your milk." But yeah, I'm still trying, and I'm hoping within the next 2 weeks, she can latch on successfully. So I am pumping, and she is drinking from the bottle. And I did have an appointment with my weight clinic, and we did talk about it, and she just told me just to keep on trying. And I did mention using a nipple shield, and she asked me if my nipples were inverted or if they were getting cracked or anything. I was like, no. She's like, okay, then you don't need it. Mama, the baby's asleep. She keeps going in and out of the room. I also had my postpartum appointment a week after I delivered. That was a Tuesday. What was the date? I have no idea. I'm so lost on the date. So it was on the 7th last week. And everything looked good. My incision was healing perfectly. He took out the staples, so I was staple free a week after. That's crazy because with my other pregnancies, they weren't taken out till about 2 or 3 weeks later. Super glad that I didn't get infection, but he did prescribe me antibiotics because I was feeling some sharp pain in certain parts of the incision. He's like, well, maybe you're starting to get an infection. And I also had some cold sweats 2 days prior to the appointment. So I did take those, but everything went away, so I guess the infection didn't follow through with itself. So everything was good on that. As far as pain right now, I do take Tylenol probably every other day or every 2 days or so, just because I still feel my stomach sore. Like if I do a lot of housework or something, by the end of the day, my stomach does get sore. And I'm also getting tons of headaches, but that's probably because of the lack of sleep. Speaking of sleep, it's not too bad. Like I said, I try to go to bed by midnight. My last pumping is at midnight, so that she feeds at midnight and 3 o'clock with my breast milk. Then, so let's see, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I get 6 hours of sleep, and then I'm up at 6 to feed her. I pump, and then I go back to bed until her 9 o'clock feeding. So 6, 7, 8, 9. So I get at least 9 hours of sleep, or at the most 9 hours of sleep. It's usually less because I'll have to wash the bottles, maybe put a load of clothes in the washer. I've been sweeping every day so that I don't get behind on housework, and then I'll go to bed. So at the most, I'll get 9 hours of sleep, at least 6 to 7 hours of sleep, which is not bad for me. Now, as far as the baby, she's been doing great. At her first appointment, a week after delivery, it was weird because the nurse weighed her and she was weighing in at 5 pounds, and she was born at 7 pounds. So when we talked to the doctor, he's like, let's weigh her again. So I don't think that's right. So she went to go weigh her again, and yes, she was 7.4 pounds. So that was only 2 ounces away from her birth weight, which was awesome. I figured she would be at least a pound underweight, but she wasn't. And then she just had her 2-week checkup yesterday, and she was actually up a pound. So she was at 8 pounds, 4 ounces, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, and my husband took her to the doctor, and he talked to him about her sleeping schedule, because for about 3 days she was actually awake at 3 a.m. and that did not sit very well with my husband. So he was just like, well, when she takes naps in the morning, just leave the door open, or if there's a window in the room, open the curtain a little bit so that the sunlight comes in, and that might help regulate her sleeping, which I'm not too worried about, because she's a newborn. If she's going to sleep, she's going to sleep. If she's going to be awake, she's going to be awake. We probably won't put her on a schedule until she's about 2 or 3 months old. She is on a feeding schedule though, but not a sleeping schedule. If she falls asleep, that's fine with me. Also, with the sleeping during the day, I am taking a nap in the mid-afternoon, probably between 2 and 4 o'clock. If you watch my other video, which one was it? Oh, the day in the life of Vita. I do tell you about my naps. Let's see, what else? Weight gain for myself. I'm still at, I weighed myself 2 days ago. It was 182. And I'm still not eating too much. I am still taking my prenatal vitamins. And I want to switch over to a multivitamin within the month, probably ask my doctor about it. I have an appointment with him in 2 weeks, and we'll talk about, all of the vitamins, exercise, and what I can do, what I can't do, and all that good stuff. And I think that's pretty much it. There's not really anything big to update on. Baby's doing great. Mommy's doing great. Minus the lack of sleep, but that's, expected. Her feeding is going good. She's pooping and peeing really good. She's actually having bowel movements at least 5 times a day, if not more. We're using cloth diapers 90% of the time. My husband does put her disposable when he puts her to, at about midnight, and then when I change her at 6. So she's staying in a diaper, a disposable diaper at night, which is what we did with my second born. And I'm fine with that. We did get diapers as gifts, so I did want to use them, one way or another. We do have some toys for her, but we're not really putting her, it's kind of like a tummy time thingy, but we're not putting her on the floor yet. She's only gone out in the world twice, which was to church and to Target. And I do have a baby wearing class that I want to go to, but my husband really doesn't want me to take her. And I really do want to take her so that I can baby wear her. It's like, why am I going to go to a class so I'm not going to be baby wearing? But yeah. Alright, so if you have any questions or if I think of anything else, then I'll upload it later. But I'll see y'all in another 2 weeks for another update. Bye. So it's 6 o'clock in the evening and I'm barely gonna be getting in the shower now. I've tried all day to get in the shower. I've just been procrastinating, trying to do other housework because I had my husband take my baby or our baby, to get her 2-week checkup. So I figured I would do this video now, because if I don't do it now, I'm probably gonna put it off later and later and later and later. So I'm gonna show y'all my belly postpartum, 2 weeks yesterday, so 2 weeks and a day. It might be graphic. I am overweight. I started the pregnancy at 185, and for my height, 5 foot, I am considered obese. Now I'm weighing in at 182, 183, so I'm under my weight. So I have a huge flap of fat hanging. I did have it before with my other pregnancies, post and pre, but now it's just bigger and hanging lower. So here it goes. So here's my belly from the side. I've been wearing the wrap, the belly binder that the hospital gave me, and it's kind of stretched out, so you can see it's a little bulgy here and here, which this one's not going to go away for a while, but I might be bloated or something, I don't know. But this hasn't gone down, and I try to pull it up and pull it down, but it kind of doesn't really work. I have stretch marks that I've had with all my pregnancies. They never went away, but I did get some new ones up here. They never went this high. My belly button is starting to go back to where it was. You can see it's kind of tucked up here now, which before it was like down here. I also have this huge flap of fat here, and it's kind of down here, it's kind of like plaquey. I don't know if that's the word for it, but like in my pregnancy I would itch down here, and I was getting these patches of hard spots, and I still have them, and I have this huge one down here somewhere, which I would show you, but that's a little too much for YouTube and for me. So yeah, and my C-section incision is a lot larger than my previous. Reaches from end to end, and I'm still having to keep it dry. I'm trying to dry it twice a day. My husband's helping me. I'm just totally grossed out by it. I don't look at it. I don't touch it. He's the one. Well, I do dry it. I'll lift my tummy and kind of fan it a little bit. And yeah, so the water's running. I'm gonna go take a shower, and I'll probably do another update in another 2 weeks, and I'll see you then. Bye.